Hey, hey, welcome, LifeSparkers, to our latest episode of our podcast here. Today we are with Sonya Luckey, my dear, dear friend that I met totally randomly through another friend who just said, "You guys are aligned. There's something about the two of you that I just feel like you need to meet." And we did, and we have been great friends ever since. We definitely are aligned in the way that we think and feel and love and uh, move through world, and I feel like that we have the same goals as far as growth and helping other people be the best version that they can be. So welcome, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. It's so exciting.
Yes, it's so fun. You're getting ready to launch your own coaching opportunities for people. And we've talked a lot about that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. But what I really wanted to just start out with is we talk a lot about decisions here at LifeSpark and how we make decisions and how we make better decisions faster. And all of that has to do with confidence. And I love the answer that you gave me earlier. So we're going to just talk about that for a little bit. But let's start with the best decision you've ever made, because you've made some really hard decisions.
I have. And you know what? Sometimes life just brings you hardship and it forces you to make those decisions, and you really get to the depth of who you are in that whirlwind. So, I've honestly been thinking about that, and I feel like if I had to pinpoint a moment, it was ironically, it's one of the times you get this situation and you don't realize the the power and the beauty of it until later, and you look back and go, wow. So literally it was an email. I got this random email, and it was this guy talking about investments, and I'm not even an investor, but his point that he was making was, what about investing in yourself? And that was a situation where he was talking about, you know these big houses and this, that, and this other stuff. But when you invest in yourself, there's a foundation there. And for some reason, it just really intrigued me. And it shifted my whole world, because I was in such a dark place and having such a hard time and not knowing how to get myself out of that. If I were to write a book, it would be Self Care Saved My Life. And I mean that sincerely. And so this shifted something in me, and I said yes to this. And I looked at what does that mean? How am I investing in myself? Where do I begin here? So that was probably one of the best decisions I made, and that was over a decade ago. And I came here to tell you I'm a different person because of it.
So amazing. And so, one of the things that we talked about earlier is that anybody can do this. It is literally available to anyone. You don't have to go, like, there are so many resources, especially in the world that we live in today, that you can listen to podcasts like this, you can read books, you can do all kinds of stuff. And a lot of it, though, is taking the time, spending the energy that it takes to get honest, because I think honesty with yourself is the first place that you have to start. You've dealt with some really, really difficult things in your life, and it's hard to be honest when you want to say, well, how much of this was my fault, or how much of, we want to place blame all the time on other people. But really, at the end of the day, yeah, what did I do to contribute to the situation? But also, what can I do to make it better?
Most definitely. And I feel like, for my situation, I feel like I was working from the ground up. I mean, I really hit bottom, and I feel like what helped me the most was taking ownership of my feelings, and in a loving way, with non-judgment. Like, okay, here it is. Like, I'm just going to sit with this feeling. What is this, and what do I do with this, and how? But like you're saying, we have to get to know ourselves first. Like, to me, that's the first step. And
Yep.
that's the one thing I love doing with my clients is what in your unique way do you take in the world through your senses? What
Yep.
gives you joy? What brings you down? Knowing what that
Yes.
feels like to be in alignment and out of alignment. To
Yep.
me, that's the foundation to move forward of how do I have self-care? Because what
Yep.
works for me might not be for the next person. And we're all unique in different things that we love and what we don't love. And how we handle situations. Because to me, one of the things that I had to learn is to kind of sink into discomfort, as opposed to, I feel like as Americans, we're kind of spoiled. And so it's just like, well, that's uncomfortable. I don't really want to do that. And there's so much
Avoidance.
gold into leaning into it, instead of
Yes.
avoiding that. It's like we got to change our instincts a little bit here, our
Yes.
mindset of how things are going to be unfolding.
Totally agree with you. I applaud you for making that decision and the journey that I've watched you be on for what, the last 5 years, I guess now it's been almost, of really just continual growth and continual um, desire to help other people and to be the best version of you every day. We all make mistakes and we all have lives, but you have, I have watched you take in your grandson and adopt him and raise him as your very own. I have watched you hold boundaries with your daughter who struggles with addiction in ways that the average person does not ever understand. They do not know what it's like to have a boundary with someone that you love, but you also realize that if you don't, you're putting a gun to their head in other ways. You know what I mean?
Most
Um,
definitely. I feel like that, my self-love journey, boundaries, healthy boundaries was huge, because I feel like sometimes when you are taking care of yourself, we live in the society where it's like, it makes you on some level feel like you're maybe being selfish. Well, I
yep,
could do that, but my heart is saying no, is a selfish thing to follow through with your heart and say, no, that's a no for me.
right.
And it's really hard to do that sometimes. And so having healthy boundaries was a real essential part of my rebuilding of myself and getting my strength back. And I'm a better human being because of it. And so therefore I'm contributing. What are the signs of depletion? Depression, isolation, emotions that you have no control over, or you're crying easily, or you're lashing out. That isn't a positive contribution.
Right.
So to me, putting this energy into myself to be able to hold space, because what's the first thing you want to do when you're full? What do happy people want to do? Give, share,
Yes,
be a part of,
yes,
come join
yes,
my world. It's wonderful over here.
yes,
So
yes,
it's not selfish. It's so helpful to go, you know what? My heart says no to that. I'm sorry. There might be
yeah,
another person that says yes to. I'm not, it's
right.
not my journey to make sure that person has all their needs met. Now,
Mm,
while I'm doing this, am I stepping on other people's backs to get where I go? No, absolutely
no,
not.
no,
This is my solo journey, but I'm going to say no if my heart says no, and I'm going to say yes and
yeah,
be all in when my heart says yes.
yep,
That's the best version I can give of me.
yep. I often say that the truth lies in the anticipation. When we're thinking about doing something or being with someone or going somewhere, if there's any part of us that is dreading that conversation, dreading the visit, dreading the trip, dreading the whatever it is, that is your intuition. Literally, that gut
Right,
reaction,
right.
that truth in the anticipation that you're literally saying, my gut is saying no. My gut is saying, why did I agree to this? Why did I put this on my calendar like this? I don't want to do it. Then
Mhm.
don't. Then that's
Exactly.
when you need to say, and I learned one tool that I learned early in my life was somebody helped me say, it isn't that I'm saying no to you. Let me tell you what I'm saying yes to. And when I started getting clear about that in my own life, like when I now say, I'm not saying no to you, if I'm, let's say I'm referring to my child or whatever, I'm saying yes to my marriage. I'm saying yes to my animals. I'm saying yes to myself. I'm saying yes to my community.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it's an unrealistic expectation or something that somebody wants that,
Hmm.
yeah, it would be great for them, but it's not so great for you, or it's not so
Yeah.
great for the other people that you've also made commitments to. So,
Most definitely. And I also feel like because I went to such a depleted place, it's almost like I have this internal gauge where I can tell, need to refuel myself. So the no might be just that. I don't
yeah,
really have it to give. I thought I
yeah,
would, and I don't. So I can say, even though I put this on the calendar a month ago, today is just really not working for me, and I'm so sorry.
right,
And own that. Like, you
right,
know, but
yeah,
I got to follow through with it. Like you're saying, there's an intuition there for whatever reason. And sometimes it's random. It's like,
yeah,
I don't really know why this is a no, but I
yeah,
can't not follow that.
right,
I've made this bond with myself through this journey, and I'm not going to disregard that. Like there's a
yeah,
reason here. And I
yep,
might not find out till later why.
yeah, totally, totally get that. What are you? I know you're working on building your business. You're working on figuring out what that looks like and how you package yourself and how you put it out there. I know your heart. I know your intention. I know what you have to offer. And so I really just want to give you kudos right now for the fact that you are following your heart and literally letting go of the outcome. And there's such a huge lesson in that. That's why I want to share it with other people. For you, for any of us, I'm, really relaunching LifeSpark. Really, I never really launched it in the first place, but there's so much to be said for getting to the point that I am doing this because I can't not. And I think you and I are so aligned in that place of the universe just screaming,
Yep.
you've come this far, you've done this much, you've done so much work, and there are people that need to hear it. There are people that need and want to hear it. So yeah, here we are.
Right.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, and you as well. And I just feel like it's really exciting to, create things and watch it unfold through you, and just like, oh, that's an inspiration. And oh, that feels okay. That's a yes. And this is and you're just
Yes.
kind of moving. And sometimes there's pauses, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, all of a sudden it kind of came to a halt. Okay, I got to honor that too.
Right.
Right. Like for you
Yep.
and for me, even
Yep.
at some points, it was just like, all
Oh,
right, I got to
yeah.
pause here. But when you get that drive of like, this is like what is clearly supposed to be happening, it's
Mm-hmm.
so humbling to be a
Oh,
part of that vessel, to be a part of that, world of, just getting out of the way and letting it
yes.
unfold and seeing who is coming. You know what I mean? Who
Yes.
is needing this? And how can
Mhm.
I show up for them in that
Yep.
present moment of meeting them
Yep.
where they're at, where
Yep.
there's a good place for a shove and there's a good place for a pause, and really being that orchestra for them as well, that while they're unfolding whatever journey they're wanting to open the door for. You only
Yes.
have to be willing. You don't
Yep.
have to know everything. In fact, it's better if you don't.
Yep.
Just show up, be organic,
Yes.
right?
Yes. That's the one thing that I have always appreciated about you is that when I look forward to our time together, whether it's online or, when we get to be in person, um, I know that you're going to be present in that. And so that's such a gift to someone else. If we could all just learn how to be more present so that, we're not looking at our phones and we're not thinking about 5 million other things, or we're not thinking about what we're going to say the second you stop talking because we're not, like I really value and have appreciated in our friendship how present you are when we're together. Even when we're, you're taking care of my duck or
Mhm.
my whatever it is, you're all in, and being all in is such a gift uh, that I just really want to give kudos to that too. But
I totally appreciate that. And I feel like a part of that is, being able to do that on my own. Like you got to be able to walk your talk, right? Because you can't,
yes,
you know, help try to, guide. I don't want to say help because everybody knows what they're doing. They just kind of need to remember, or be
yes,
inspired, or just a little bit of
yes,
movement or something, like, and that's
yep,
our job, right? Part of it is just feeling where they're at. Once
mm,
they get their figuring out what their alignment is, then our only job is to be like, oh, remember over here,
yep,
or just whatever. What did that feel like? Wait a minute there,
yep,
and how many times do we put on a mask to try to fit in, and it's even subconscious. We're not even necessarily aware that we're doing it. So
yep,
when we can just start being more intentional with ourselves and start walking our walk, or talking our walk, like it just becomes way more organic when you're working with other people. It's so much
totally,
easier to feel it, be aligned with it, understand it,
yep,
and then I'm in it for the ripple effect, like I've told you. So to
yeah,
me, it's like, okay, so now you've got it. What is that feeling inside of you? You want to go share that with someone else. You
yeah,
want, or just even being present. People will go, whoa, your energy just totally shifted. I want some of what you've got. You're not even
yep,
necessarily having to be a life coach, just being present in a room and having that
mhm,
relief of like, oh yes, I remember who I am. It's
yes,
like my son talking about his anxiety and saying it's just who I am. And I said, no, that's who you are when you're out of alignment. That's who you are when you're dealing with situations that bring you, strong feelings. Those are all changeable. What's your core? Who is your core person? And
Yeah,
getting to know and honor that. That to me is the
so
key.
true. Absolutely. Totally agree. I think that it's so easy to get out of that alignment. It's so easy to fall into fear and into anxiety and to depression and those things. But again, it's just some simple tools of getting up and moving and getting, sometimes it is making a call to a coach and to your mentor or to whoever it is,
Mhm.
and it is an investment in yourself. I mean, whether it's monetarily or it's time or it's reading a book or it's whatever it is,
Mhm.
taking that investment seriously and understanding that I just need a little nudge here.
Absolutely.
And I think that we are so um for years and years and years I've been fighting the stigma of mental health and the stigma of
Mhm.
seeking treatment and the stigma of having a therapist. And it's like I have fought and talked and to whoever will listen for so many years now about how important that is. I would not even be alive if I hadn't had therapy and if I hadn't had someone one of my professors in college that literally was like, she's always here and she didn't show up to class. I wonder what's going on with her.
Mm.
And started looking for me and coming after, like that was his intuition saying something is wrong with this person that I have really observed not have this kind of behavior in them. So being present, he was able to say, and guess what? He saved my life.
Oh. And that's why it's so important to follow your intuition, but you got to be in
Yes.
tune with your intuition in order to
Yes.
follow it. This isn't a race, right? It's about those layers and those steps and being gentle and having the steady movement, because sometimes we
Yes.
can get way ahead of ourselves. We see a goal that we want to get there and we want to jump to step 4. And it's okay to be at step 1,
Yeah.
and really solidly be in that step, and
Hmm.
then organically move to the next step. You know what it is, it just unfolds. But sometimes
Yep.
we are so we're almost chronically out of alignment that we're not even aware that we're out of alignment. It feels like the norm, right?
Yep.
And so when you get to a place where it's like, okay, I realize when I'm out, as opposed to I realize when I'm in. Like that
Yep.
was the beginning for me, where I was just like, oh wow, this feels really good. So I would feel
Mhm.
when I was in alignment for this, right, like this. And then
Yep.
it started being my alignment was my world and my life. And I would feel
Yep.
when I was out of alignment, and it's
Yep.
just like, okay, and I know what to do to get myself back in. I know myself
Yes.
well enough to be like, okay, I need to go for a walk or watch a
Yep.
funny movie or go have lunch with a friend, or maybe it's time for a massage, you
Right.
know? And if you're financially strapped, there are so many beautiful ways. Being mindful, that's an easy one. Everybody
Mhm.
can do that. Being in
Yep.
nature, sitting with silence and sitting with yourself can sometimes be scary because all our thoughts come rushing through and it's just like, I don't even know what to do with these. Well, one
Yes.
one little bite at a time. One
Yep.
little bite. This isn't something you have to swallow all at once. In fact, I don't
Right.
recommend it,
No.
right?
Totally, totally agree. I think that it's such a journey. I mean, I've been on it for years and years and years. You've been on it for years and years and years. And I think we're on it our whole life. But once you start being a seeker and once you start aligning with other people who have like minds, it's a lot easier to stay in alignment. That's partly
Yes.
why, like, I love our confidence community because it's just the people who are in, like, they're just like minded. They want the same goals. They have the same, you know, view on life, whatever it is, even though we may disagree politically or spiritually or whatever, we don't have to agree,
Right.
but we want to grow and we want to feel and we want to be contributing members to society
Right.
and not just, victims that are going through taking whatever life throws at us and being like, yeah, well, that's my lot in life.
Right.
No, it's not.
Right. Yeah, that brings me to I was just thinking about, I had this client I was working with, and she was talking about her childhood, and she was really hungry as a kid. That was part of her trauma. She really wasn't fed, and she had a neighbor that had a fruit tree, and so she would go over and sneak those fruit trees or whatever. And she said that one day she went over and they had backed their truck up so that she could get in the truck and get more fruit. And My first thought at the time was, why aren't they calling this in? Her first thought was, wasn't that nice of them? Totally two different reactions to that. And to me, when you're in alignment with the universe has my back, the universe is going to keep having your back. You're going to keep going to that flow. If she would have went to, why aren't they calling and helping me? It would have been a totally different frequency inside of her heart.
Yes. Totally agree
She
with
took
you.
that as a gift because it was.
Yep.
And she taught me. I love that. And that's what I love about this work. I'm just part of this too, right?
Yep.
All
Yep.
learning and
Totally agree.
together, right? We're all being able to take these moments. There is never a moment where I can't be a teacher or a student, ever.
Totally agree.
You know, so
Yep. It is a gift. And I think that it's going through life with, well, I often say, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. But it's expecting good things versus expecting bad things. I think that and some of us are naturally resilient. Some of us are naturally optimistic. Like I was just born with, I'm like a whack-a-mole. You can just, I just pop back up somewhere else.
I love that.
Like,
Oh
but
my
you know
God.
what?
Yeah.
It's
You'll never
just
get
who
me
I
down.
am.
Yeah.
Like I just have something in me that is just, I don't even know.
Right.
And I used to just hate it about myself. Like, why? Why do I go back for more every time? Because it also is, then it puts me into that, like, then I'm a people pleaser. Then I do things, like,
Right.
and it takes me down a road that I'm like, it's a double-edged sword to be
Right.
that way.
Right.
And then it affects my health. And I get,
Right.
like, I get all of these other things that happen. But it's also a really good thing
Yes.
that I have the ability to overcome incredible hardship.
Absolutely. And you know what? And that is such gold right there, what you're talking about, because to me, that's a beautiful part. What I love working with my clients too. It's like we have these gifts and sometimes, especially people like us who are really passionate, it's like sometimes our gifts can be like explosive. And it's just
Yes.
like, okay, well, I just, whatever. So learning to accept us, how we
Yes.
are, and
Yes.
channel that where it
Yes.
is working for us instead of against us is
Yes.
part of the work, right?
Yes.
And and
Totally
and
agree.
here comes the alignment thing again. It's like, okay, if it's starting to affect my health,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
That's a great
Totally.
awareness. It's like,
Totally.
okay, so how do I do this? How do I honor who I am, this
Yep.
passionate, strong woman who's been
Yep.
through all of this and has
Yep.
everything in my gut and my heart to just be
Yep.
out there and be of service?
Yep.
How do I do this in a graceful way that is going to be received by my own unique? Because I'm not going to dim my light,
Yep.
but I want to be able to share this where it's able to be received by as many that are willing. Because there's all different styles, right?
No,
It's like
totally.
I might not
Totally.
be the coach for some people, and that's
No,
okay.
totally agree. Yep.
Absolutely. There are some that are more gentle, some that are more whatever. So if we're not aligning, that is not anything I'm taking personal. Kudos to you to find someone that aligns with you better. This is who I am, and this is
Yep.
how I coach.
Yep.
And I
Totally.
obviously can always learn, right? That
Yep.
there's things where it's like, what, I don't really like that about me either. Thanks for bringing that up. That's something I'm
Yep.
working on,
Yep. I will say that here at LifeSpark, when we align people with coaches, we do work very hard at making sure that the personalities are, you know, a good fit.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, before. But like I know you've done a lot of work. I've done a lot. I've done all of the Myers-Briggs. I've done Enneagrams. I've done all kinds of things to understand my personality style and what my nature, like what is my go-to? What am I going to do? My instinct going to be my first reaction.
Yeah.
And so when you learn that about yourself, then you can also learn tools to counteract that. Like
Absolutely.
I can be explosive and I can't, like, I will give and give and give and give and give and give and give until I break. And when I break,
Yeah.
you really, that's when things get ugly for me. And
Right. No, I was just going to say, and that to me right there as a life coach, I immediately want to go, well, let's find that point before the break, because this passion is beautiful. So
Yes.
you would be one that I would focus on the burnout feeling. Where's that gauge where you're getting
Yes.
ready for burnout? Do it
Yes.
stop before the burnout. Whereas some other
Yes.
people might need more nudges. They're having a hard time getting off the
Mhm.
couch, and there's no judgment here. There's no right or wrong. It's just, let's find that middle ground. Let's find that balance where you're honoring yourself and still doing your purpose and still feeling
100%.
fulfilled in life. Because
Yep.
my husband, he does like to be on the couch a lot more than me. I'm more of a let's get her done kind of girl.
Yep.
Is what he's doing wrong or me? No, absolutely not. I'm like, you need a power
No.
nap, babe? All right, I'm going to go work in the yard.
Yep.
You know? Like,
Totally.
let's just be ourselves.
Totally. 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 Our time together is going so fast, so
I
I just
know.
have a couple more questions.
Okay.
We're going to have to talk again soon. Um, Tell us what the best advice is that you were ever given, and would you give that advice to others now?
Oh my goodness. I just feel like I've had so much gold in advice. God, that could be a whole session in itself. I'm not even joking.
Okay, we can
One
maybe
thing that
save that
I
for
don't know
another
why
moment.
this is coming to me. Maybe someone needs to hear it. I don't know if it was the best advice, but it certainly was something that was really helpful to me. And it was talking about what you give in is what you're going to give out. So what you're putting into yourself, what you're putting into the world, so I guess it made me feel like I was taking ownership, and it also made me realize, what am I giving in this? Like, what is my relationship with confidence? What is my relationship with loyalty? And so I want to be able to hold that badge of honor to be able to say, I am a loyal person. You can count on me. So what am I doing to make that happen? I guess is what that advice gave to me.
Right.
Like, what you put into is what you're going to get out of it. And I, like we were talking before about giving, too much and going, I was realizing I was kind of going to the extreme on the other end, where it was just like, I am loyal almost to a fault. It was just like, well, you're disloyal, so now you're out of my life. Like, this was before I did a lot of my work.
Mhm.
So self-awareness, I guess, and balance
Yep.
in that, what you're giving out is what you're going to get back, and vice versa. The
Yep.
other one that was really helpful for me one time, a person said, do you know that black is all colors? So you can choose to see this as black and dim and an end, or you can choose to see this as all colors. And instantly I went, I choose color. I choose color. And I still use that today when I start feeling like, okay, Sonya, you looking at this as all color? Like you this is where you got to step up in your walk your talk. And so, yeah, I mean, many, but those are the two that are
Yep.
just coming to me right now in this moment.
I love that. That is so, we're lucky to have mentors, aren't we?
Yes,
Yes. People
absolutely.
that have just lifted us up and yeah, gotten us this
Absolutely.
far, I guess I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't have to recreate the wheel. It's like, thanks, and they've been through
Yes.
it. They're not
Yes.
just doing it from something they read in a book. It's like, this is what
Right.
came to me in my heart when I went through that raw section of life. And here's the gold. And I would
Yep.
love to share it with you if it resonates with you.
Yep. Totally. So, tell us a little bit about your confidence. How did you um, come into it in a way that you can honestly say, I like Sonya. I am a good person. I am proud of me. No matter what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. Wow.
That's probably a whole session in itself
Oh,
too.
no joke. No joke. I mean, that, I grew up with, I'm just going to say, starting looking in the mirror and looking into my eyes and saying, you are important. Crystal, I'm not joking. I literally
Did
couldn't
the
do it
same
for a
thing.
while. And then I finally could. And when I was doing it, I needed to sob for a little while. I mean, it was a process to really,
Yes.
truly take that in. Am I more important? Absolutely not. Am I less important? Absolutely not. And so, but just getting into that ground of like, you are important, you have value was just, it was transformational.
Yep.
But as far as keeping my confidence, like we were talking about earlier, it really, for me, for my journey with confidence, it is about showing up and being me. It's saying, I really don't understand what you're saying. Could you tell me more about that? Instead of pretending I know what they're saying. It's really about being authentically me. at the same time doing my favorite quote from my favorite poet, Maya Angelou. I love her so much, and she has brought so much joy to my world. That woman is strong, she is insightful, and she is selfless. That's a great combination. And she said, as we know better, we do better. And that just feels so gentle and so true and so right. And so to me, that's what I do with my confidence. I show up and be me. I own my stuff as I own it. And I know in my heart that as I know better, I'm going to do better. It keeps
I
me from
love that.
judging myself. It keeps me from staying gentle, but moving forward with intentions of doing the best that I can.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for referring to her in the current present world, because I just want to say that even though she has passed, God rest her soul, I can honestly say that we all have a legacy,
Yeah.
and hers is profound. I
Mhm.
believe that yours will be profound. I hope that mine is. I have a tattoo that says to live, to love, to leave a legacy, and I've had it for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I want that. That is not for myself, not it's a legacy of love, a legacy of grace. And I think even when you think about Maya, I think we all think love and great. Like, I aspire to be like her, and I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So as we're winding up our time today, I just want to say, if we could leave everybody with one little thing to do, it would be to look in the mirror and to just look themselves in the eye and to say,
Yeah.
you are worthy. You matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to bring that around to other people, and they're going to go, well, me too, me too, me too, me too. And let's just spread that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, we could just talk all day, but I'm going to let this be it for now.
Yes.
And we will be again on here very soon. So just watch out for all of our posting, and I'll let you know when we're going to be with Sonya again. We're going to be doing a live Q&A, I think, here in the next couple of weeks,
Oh, good.
that we can have people call in or ask us questions that we can answer. And yeah, I think that will just help us kind of just be in the moment with everybody. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
That'd be
So,
great.
all right. Well, have an amazing day.
You
Thank you for your time and for your love and your heart and
Yes, you too,
for being a
Crystal.
life
Right back
sparker.
at you. Thank you
Yes.
so
All right.
much.
Talk to
Talk
you
soon.
soon.